We're back with our first Survivor fantasy game of the year. We went over this in our last podcast. We're going to go over it a little bit more here, but this is our prop bet game. Me and Will are going to make our lists. How many lists do we already have? Because we had thought that we were going to go higher than last time, and it's August 3rd. And how many lists do we have already, Will?
We have, I think, around 60 entries.
Last year we only had 94 total for the bootless game. So
I have yet to go through and check if all the entries are subscribers. They probably aren't. And what I'm also seeing is a lot of people that submitted bootless for last year are now, I get the notification when they subscribe. So it's clear that they subscribed and then unsubscribed and then now are resubscribing. So what we're going to do to combat that is we're going to check if you're a subscriber at the beginning of the season. And then at 3 random points during the season, we're going to check. And if you're not a subscriber during any of those, I guess check-ins is what you would call them, then you will not be eligible. So, I mean, yeah, subscribe. It
we're
helps
like
us
teachers.
out.
You know, we check homework 3 times a year, but you better have it done those 3 times.
Right, and it's not hard to do. All you have to do is hit one button, and then you have to make sure your subscriptions are set to public so that we're allowed to see who, that you subscribe to us. It's really simple.
We don't really blow anybody up here. We're not getting money for this. We're not blowing you up with like crazy things that we just like and put all over the YouTube.
We do about one podcast a week and then during the season we'll do 2. But if you like Survivor, if you're playing this bet game, you're probably interested anyway.
Yeah.
But if you don't know what we're talking about with the bet game, I'll put a link in the description below if you want to see us. We go back and forth pitching bets to each other, fun bets, and we come up with 20 that are pretty good. And then one commenter posted one. I think it was Cole Jordan posted a bet, and we actually are using that too. We have 20 bets, and pretty much you have to use each castaway once, each of the 20 castaways once, and then you have 40 points that you can use to wager on these bets. Each bet you need to put at least 1 point, and you can maximum bet 3 points. So we're going to go through ours. If that sounds confusing, it's not. We'll go through it, and it will make a lot more sense. Anything else, Phil? Does that cover it, you think?
That covers it. Just make sure you use everybody once and make sure the points add up to 40, because I think our first entry was actually under 40, which we fixed.
If you want to go under, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can go under. I just don't think it makes very much sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Going over is not okay. I haven't gone through and checked everybody's. That would just take forever. I just looked at the first one and it was wrong. So just double check it. It does sound a little bit complicated, but it really is not. So all the rules will be posted in the description, and also there's a link in the description to our prior podcasts with, if you want to watch us form the bets and go into more detail on the rules. Okay, let's get this thing started. The first bet is blank will be the winner of Survivor Second Chance. Is it Second Chance or Second Chances? I think it's just Second Chance.
I don't know. I don't know that's actually a good point. I don't know, because we put chances on all of ours.
I think it's chance, because in the logo it says chance, but it sounds so much better to say second chances, because everybody's getting a second chance, not just one person.
That's true. Yeah, I really don't know.
Okay, we'll kick us off here. There is going to be a winner of the season, and who do you think the winner is, and how confident are you?
I am about a 5 on confidence, because I think middle of the road here is not bad, because I think that this person could beat half of them.
On confidence, I meant 1, 2, or 3.
Oh,
right.
Oh God. Well, I already blew that. Anyway, no. Okay. So anyway, I have Wentworth winning it, and I put 2 points. And the reason I put Wentworth and I put two because I was running out of ones. I put so many ones that then I didn't have any confidence to put any 3s. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to play it safe and put a lot of 2s. And I put Wentworth at 2. I figure if she wins, I get 2 points for it. The reason I went with Wentworth is there's just so many threats and so many people who can't win right off the bat. And there was really not many other places to put her. Like, I don't feel like she doesn't really fit into a lot of these little prop bets that we have, which we'll kind of get into later. And there's some people that I just ran out of places to put. So I put them at the Sandra Parvati and the Boston Rob Russell one just because I didn't know where else to put them. But I figured Wentworth, out of the 6 I had left over, was probably my best chance to win. So I have her winning it with 2 points.
Okay. I agree with you that the winner is really tough to pick. And if we're going to go through this cast, there's a lot of people right off the bat, you can say they aren't winning, right? There's a few.
Yeah.
And then and for whatever reason, not because they're bad players, they might be too good. Like, I don't think Steven, Spencer, or Joe is going to win, even though they're all strong players. I don't think Woo or Keith is going to win. I don't think Abby Marie, Cass, Kimmy, PG, or Shireen can win.
Yeah.
Because I just think they're irritating and that people don't want to give them $1 million. So it doesn't leave that many options. I went with Jeremy here just because why won't Jeremy win? I mean, he's not too big of a threat, but he's also a strategic mind. He knows the game. He loves the game. He'll be playing hard. He'll be playing to win. And I think people tend to like Jeremy. And I think he's set up nicely on his tribe. He's strong, so he'll make it to the merge. He won't be a challenge liability pre-merge. And then once the merge hits, there are so many other threats out here. I mean, if you look like Tasha, if she makes the merge, which I really think she will, she is probably one of the biggest challenge threats here. And then you have, if Joe is there, if Woo is there, then you have Savage and Terry. I mean, there are so many challenge threats. I don't think Jeremy screams, even though he is physically fit, I don't think he screams, a big challenge threat. And like I said, he's strategically sound. So I got Jeremy. I'm not confident at all because it is a 1 in 20 shot. So I only have 1 point on this bet.
Okay. Yeah. And my thing with Jeremy, he was one of the last 5 or 6 that I had left, and I just went with Wentworth over him. He was actually my second choice. And when you find out where I have Jeremy, you're gonna be like, why do you have Jeremy there? Because I just really had nowhere else to put Jeremy, and I started off by doing a lot of the challenge threats and the confessional things because I figured let's see who the screen hogs are and stuff like that from previous seasons and who actually is probably gonna make the jury and stuff. And by the time I got down to it, I was like, well, I'm confident this person's going to make the jury, but I don't think they can win. And then you're left with a bunch of people who could win or are going to be stuck with some of the crappier prop bets here. You know what I mean?
Right. And my process, I kind of went through, and then people I liked, I would put maybe 1 or 2 names. And Jeremy, I put for the winner, but I didn't have him really anywhere else. Like you said, there's not really another place to put him, but he is he is a contender. So why not put him here?
Yeah, I agree. I have no problem with Jeremy being there.
All right. The second bet. It is who will garner a hashtag blindside after being voted out. This is pretty common these days in Survivor, not only blindsides, but for them to use, throw up the hashtag on screen so people can, tweet about it and whatnot.
Yeah, and here I went with Vetus. And I'm probably more confident with this than I am with Wentworth, but I still only put 2 points. I just feel like Vetus is so perfectly set up where they're gonna he's gonna feel like he's in some type of alliance, and they're gonna backstab him before he can do anything about it, before he even sees it coming. And I think that he's gonna get the big hashtag blindside. He's gonna go out all bitter and angry, and Vetus isn't gonna be a happy little person at the reunion show.
I could very well see that happening. I think that's a great pick. In his first season, Blood vs. Water, if it was him and Aris were together, and Aris, I think, got the hashtag blindside, but they easily could have picked Vetus first. So he did get blindsided. It just wasn't him going home.
Yeah.
So you do have a good precedent there. So I think I like the pick.
All right, well, who you got?
I have Terry.
Okay.
And I have Terry because is he the most strategic? No. But I think he's pretty gullible, and there's a lot of players this season that are going for blood, going big. And he's he was a huge challenge threat on his season. He probably still is. I wouldn't be surprised if we're, around episode 4 or 5, the merge is coming and they want to start getting out challenge threats, and he just gets completely blindsided.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I have Terry somewhere else, but I mean, I could definitely see Terry. It's funny that we go with Terry and Vetus, after Terry and Aris with their little feud, and Terry and Vetus end up on the same tribe. Are they going to be together? Are they going to be against each other? And it'd be funny if, one of them blindsides the other one out, making one of us right. But I wouldn't be surprised if they did that to each other. Like, hey, let's team up since we kind of have a relationship, and then just get rid of them.
Yeah, and remember with this hashtag blindside thing, it's not like only one person is going to get this. It's not like the winner bet. There's only going to be one winner. There are multiple people that can, get the hashtag blindside bet. So we could both be right here. And I have 1 point for Terry because, I mean, the hashtags, how confident can you be? They're just,
Yeah, I hear you.
Number 3 is blank will successfully play an idol.
God, this was like one of the hardest ones.
One of the very hardest ones because we don't even know if it's going to happen.
Exactly, and this was out of all of like the gameplay ones. This was the hardest one. Not like who will mention like a word or a name or something. Out of all of like the actual gameplay ones, this was the hardest one because not only they have to find it, they have to successfully play it. And there's a lot of people who could find them. I could see all of the guys finding them. I could see, Shireen finding them, PG finding one, Monica even finding one, Wentworth. I could see all of them finding one, but to successfully play one, I here went with Steven, and I put 2 points for Steven here. Because I think what's going to happen is Steven's going to know he's got a huge target on his back, and he's going to be hunting for that idol right away. And I think if he gets it, he's smart enough to know he's in trouble and play it right and keep himself safe for a little bit longer. I went with 2 points on that as well.
Interesting. I went with the same exact reasoning as you, just a different player. I have Joe. I think Joe knows how big of a threat he is and that there's nothing he can do to get rid of that. Like, if you're Cass or Abby Maria, there's things you can do to just don't be full yourself. Tone it down a little bit. And you can go into the game doing that. But Joe there's no way out for him right now. Like, he is going to have a target on his back. He's extremely physical. His season just aired. He's going to be looking for an idol. And also Joe's a player. He can make it to the merge because he's so strong and you want him on your try for challenges. If he finds like an idol post-merge, I could see kind of a Mike thing happening where he has to play the idol and everyone knows he has the idol and everyone knows they have to throw votes at him. And he might play an idol that way. It might not be this huge surprising play, but it will be a successful idol play.
Yeah.
And I didn't really have that much of a better place to put Joe because I didn't want to put him for the winner of an immunity challenge just because there's a chance he doesn't even make the merge. That's how big of a threat he is.
Or he gets to the merge and he's the first one booted because he's that much of a threat and he just happened to lose right away.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I only have 1 point on that just because I don't know how you're putting 2 points on that. It's a huge gamble. How are you going to – someone has to find the idol and then play it successfully. It's really hard to predict.
I had so many 1-pointers that like I needed to give some 2s because I didn't want to put 3s. There's nothing that I'm confident enough to really put 3, but I figured I have to put a couple.
That's a different strategy. Okay, so you're just kind of going because 2 is the average, is what you should have.
You could go down this and just put 2 for all of them, really.
Right. Exactly. Okay.
Okay. What's 4? Let's go back and forth.
4 is blank will receive 10 or more votes throughout the course of the season, and votes that are nullified by an idol do count. We are including those. So it's 10 votes or more throughout the season. I put Shireen just because she is annoying as hell, and she might just get 2 or 3 votes here and there. She's not the best physically. I do think she knows the game well and will be able to survive a few tribals, but I wouldn't be surprised if her tribe, if she gets 3 or 4 votes every time she goes to tribal, it wouldn't shock me at all. So I have her getting 10 or more votes this season.
How many points do you have on that?
And I have 3 points on that.
Okay. I have 3 points on this one as well. I have Spencer, and for pretty much opposite reasons of Shireen. He's not annoying, but I feel like what you said with Shireen, he's going to get votes almost every single time he goes to tribal because everybody knows that he's a threat. And I feel like every time he goes, he might be on the right side of the numbers, but it could be like a 6-4 vote and 4 votes go to Spencer. And then the next time 3 votes go to Spencer. And I could see like they almost just keep voting for him. And then when they get to the merge, if he's still somehow there, I think he's going to get votes every time at the merge too. Like I feel like if Spencer makes it deep in this game, which I do think Spencer the more I look at the cast, there's just so many threats that you can't just look at Steven and Spencer and say, we got to get rid of them first because there's so many different types of threats out there in this cast.
Mm-hmm.
I think Spencer has a better chance than Steven to really get himself into the game. And the way it worked out where he's not with cast, that's got to be a huge relief to him. He's on a tribe with Wu. I mean, that really works out for him. And I do think, though, he's going to get votes pretty much every single time he goes to tribal. So I have Spencer with 3 on that one.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's definitely a valid pick. I have Spencer somewhere else, where I really like him. So, yeah, I think Shireen she's just a vote getter collector. They're just going to keep coming her way. And I wouldn't be surprised if she makes the merge either. So,
yep.
Okay, the 5th bet is blank will be a member of a jury.
This is one that you need to get right because like there's so many people who are going to get this. You know what I mean? Like this is one where there's so many options, and you know this is one you have to get right.
And you have to put 3 points on it.
Yeah. What do you got?
I have Tasha.
Okay.
And I think Tasha, I'm very, very confident in this pick. I don't see Tasha as a pre-merge boot. She's too strong physically, and she's just a good person to have around. She has a great smile. She, is easy to work with, easy to talk to. And I think she can find herself in the numbers. And even if she's not in the numbers somehow, she's not going to be the first kind of hit that you put out pre-merge. She can make it, hold her own in a tribe swap. And then once we get to the merge, that's pretty much all you really need to do. You need to make the merge, then not be the merge boot. That's how it usually works. I think she's too big of a physical threat and social threat to make the final 3, and that she'll end up on the jury.
Yeah, I have Wu because I don't see any. My reasoning with Wu is I don't really see how Wu doesn't at least make the merge because he's not enough. I know he's a physical threat, but he's not enough of a winning threat. And I feel like that nobody's going to be like, oh, my God, we got to get rid of Wu before we hit the merge because if he gets to the end, he'll win. They already saw him get to the end against a pretty abrasive guy and lose. So I feel like everybody's thinking I can beat Wu at the end. Now, I see where, like, some people might be like, well, Wu might just get taken to the final 3 again. I feel like what's going to happen is Wu is going to be likable, and I think that maybe towards the end, if a lot of people are backstabbing and stuff, they might not want to take Wu to the end, just kind of like a Brett thing from back in Samoa where he was just so likable that if he went to the end, he was just going to win. So it could go either way with Wu, depending on if he learned anything from his first game. But I don't see how, with how loyal he is, whoever's alliance he's in, I don't see how they're like, we got to get rid of Wu before he gets the merge. So I think that Wu, I put 3 points on him. That's where I got him. So
I think that's a great pick. Also with Wu, if an alliance is targeting Wu's alliance, I wouldn't be surprised if they put the hit on him because he's probably not likely to have an idol. Someone's not going to play an idol for him. He's just not that strategically in the game, or at least that's not how he played the first time.
He's like Carter in Philippines, where it's like, could he win? Yeah, but if you got to get rid of him and his alliance, like it's really not that hard to pick him off when you have to. You know what I mean? Like it's not that hard to get rid of him at any given moment.
Right. Okay. Number 6 is win an individual immunity challenge. Who do you got?
I got Tasha, and I was going to put her as a jury member, but I instead put her as a immunity challenge winner because I think what will happen is somebody like Wu, he could fall into the Joe situation where, like you said, it's like, oh, well, Wu's not going to have the idol, but at the same time, Wu could win immunity. So if he loses that first immunity challenge, maybe they get rid of him if he's in the minority alliance. Tasha, I think, could stay around a little bit longer. And what Survivor's been doing a lot lately is they do men versus, like, men can win one immunity challenge and women can win the other. And the way Tasha performed in Cagayan, I mean, she was a strong competitor. So I think that if there's any women, like just women versus women, they might be down in numbers going into the merge. And I think Tasha would win any of those challenges. So I only have her with 1 point, but I do have Tasha at 6.
All right. I like that pick a lot. I think she's definitely going to win. I'm just more confident in her becoming a juror. I have Keith for this. We saw Keith. How many did he win in San Juan del Sur? I know he did well in his little Heroes Arena duel, but I think he might have won 2 immunity challenges, maybe 3 even.
I mean, I know he was ridiculously good at like all of those stupid games. He was like really good at all of them. Bless you, by the way.
Thank you.
But he was really like every time that there was like a backyard game challenge, it was like, why is Keith good at this? There's no reason he should be good at this. He
dominated. I mean, I see him making the merge because he is fairly good at these challenges, throwing things he's really coordinated. I mean, he's a fireman. He won 3. So I see him making the merge and I see him picking up at least 1. And I have 3 points on that. I'm not totally confident that Keith will win, but where else am I going to put 3 points? I mean, multiple people are going to win immunities, so that's why I'm putting 3 here.
All right. Yeah, I agree with Keith. I have Keith in a spot where I'm like, if Keith doesn't get it with how dumb some of the things he says are, and The more I think about what happened with him at the San Juan del Sur reunion show, I really do hope Keith has sort of a redemption arc, because I remember like how like mad he was when Jeff was like, "Hey, do people give you crap for saying stick to the plan?" And like he was about to cry, man. He was embarrassed, and like I'm hoping he gets a little bit of a redemption arc, man. I really do.
I like Keith. I like Keith a lot.
So I mean, I think that he's going to make the merge. I think him and Wu are probably the most likely to actually make it to the merge. If I had to look at this entire cast from top to bottom, I would say the two of them, if they didn't make it, if both of them didn't make it, I'd be really shocked, because that would mean that for some reason they were just voting out weak players.
Yeah, I'm with you. For our seventh bet, it is. Let me remember here. Oh, this is the most confessionals in the premiere. I had a tough time with this.
So did I.
Because everyone who I wanted to put for this, it's like if they don't get the most in the premiere, it's just a wasted name that can't do anything throughout the season. So it was tough. And anyone I wanted to put for this, I probably would put in the. We also have a bet we'll get 10 or more confessionals in an episode. So, it was a bit tricky. Who would you put?
I went with Savage. And the reason I went with Savage is they did this with Scoopin in Philippines. He hadn't been on for a while, and they get him on the show, and he gets 8 confessionals right off the bat in the first episode. And then he doesn't get confessionals for a while, but right off the bat he had 8. And the other people from the older seasons, I don't see Jeff Varner getting like a really big amount of confessionals in this first episode. Wigglesworth, I feel like, is going to hate the camera this time around. Kimmy might get a lot of confessionals, but I put Kimmy somewhere else. And I was thinking that this is probably going to go to an older player. And I was like, you know what? They love Savage. Jeff Probst has said numerous times he wants Savage back on. If they're going to – this whole first episode, I mean, it's a 90-minute premiere, so there's going to be a lot of confessionals going on. But, I mean, this is camp building and stuff like that. Savage is going to come in and be talking about – like, he always has that natural leadership role. So I feel like he's going to get a lot of these confessionals at the camp. I went with him. I put 2 points on it. I'm hoping this works out. I didn't know where else to put Savage either, so I don't really have a problem even if this doesn't happen.
Right. I like the pick. It makes sense. Good pick there. I had the same problem. I didn't really know who to put here, and I needed to get rid of someone. And then I started thinking about it more, and I think I like this pick. I have Abby Maria because I think she's on the tribe that we both agree is not the strongest. What's their name? Like Tikiano? No. That's One World. Well, there's Bayonne and there's a T1. I don't know. She's on the weaker tribe, and we think she's probably the worst challenge competitor in the whole show. And she's not that pleasant to be around, I don't think. So it wouldn't surprise me if Abby Maria is the first boot, and often the first boot is the one who gets the most confessionals. Plus, she's a fan favorite. People loved her and love her sassiness, and she has funny lines to the camera. So I wouldn't be surprised if she's the first boot and just gets a nice 10 or 11, maybe even pull a Carolyn and get 13 confessionals in the premiere.
Yeah, I definitely could see how Abby Maria would be a good pick there. I mean, I didn't know where to put Abby Maria either, so that's a good one because she could easily be the first boot, and it's just like
And I have 2 points on that one.
You have 2 points on that one, okay. It's hard. It was hard to put 3 on a lot of these because it's like you have to be really confident that's going to happen, because if it doesn't, I mean that's 3 points gone. Like that's really hard. Like
I have 3 in a lot of them. I've already said I have 3 on Shireen getting 10 or more votes, 3 on Tasha becoming a jury member, 3 on Keith winning a challenge.
I already have 2 3s, so I guess I'm not that far off. But these next 2 were just
No, I think I have good. I think I have good stuff here. Okay, so number 8 is blank. Will mention the name Russell or Boston Rob.
Dude.
Who you got?
Okay, you ready for this? This one's gonna make so much sense. I hope everybody's ready. I have PG because she was the last person left on my list. There is no reason for PG to say either of these names, but she was the last one left on my list, and I said, you know what? It would be funny if she said Russell or Boston Rob just at some point in the show. I only have 1 point on it. I didn't know where else to put her. There was nobody else who I had left over, really, that I was like, you know what, maybe I could switch with PG. I put PG with 1 point, and I'm hoping that some miracle happens where PG just happens to mumble Russell at some point or Boston Rob or something, because she played pre-Russell. So there's really no reason for her to say Russell at all. And she never played with Boston Rob, so there's really no reason for her to say Boston Rob either. So unless one of these players reminds her of them, which I think she's a fan of the show. So
yeah, she's a big fan. So it's not like a terrible pick. I could easily see her bringing up, either of those names. I have Monica Padilla just because, Russell's played. Yeah, right. Yeah, Russell Swan. That's right. We are counting Russell Swan. We went over that in the last video. She was on a tribe with Russell and Samoa, the merged tribe. And we saw a coach say, Brandon Hance, it gives me flashbacks of Russell. He reminds me of Russell's. That's how I think a player might use this. And the only person to have played with Russell Hance on this season is Monica Padilla. I could also maybe see her saying Boston Rob. I mean, who knows? These players, Boston Rob and and Russell, they're mentioned so often. It's kind of a crapshoot. I put 2 points on it just in case I do hit it. I wouldn't be surprised if Monica Padilla mentions her former tribe mate, Russell Hance. And Russell Swan.
Yeah, I mean, she's the only one to play with both Russells who have played Survivor.
Yeah, there you go.
So why not her?
And I didn't have a great place to put Monica Padilla anyway, so I like this pick.
Yeah, I hear you. That's a good pick. That was who I was going to put. I put her somewhere not too far from here. But who did you have saying Parvati or Sandra?
I have a great pick for this one. I really like it. I got Savage for this. And I think he could say either Sandra or Parvati. He's the only player on this season to have played with Sandra. So he could say, I played with the best of all time, the all-time, the two-time winner, Sandra. So I could see that happening just because,
Wow. Anybody who entered after you said that, that's a really good pick because I could see him in his first episode where he gets 20 confessionals. I could see him dropping Sandra's name right off the bat, and that would stay.
Yeah, I could see that happening. Also, he could say Parvati really easily just because it seems that all the younger kind of hot chicks on the show are equated to Parvati for some reason. Like she's the kind of poster child of that type of player. And we often see kind of the older men say, oh, watch out for her. She's a Parvati. So I could see Savage saying that. Yeah,
definitely. And how many points do you have for that?
I have 2. So I have 2 on each of the name bets.
And I have 1. And I actually went with Jeremy here. My reason for Jeremy is because he played with Kelly Wentworth. And since I have Kelly Wentworth winning, and if Kelly Wentworth goes deep, I can see Jeremy making a Parvati reference to her. But Jeremy's also starting off on the tribe with Sierra. And kind of like what you just said with Savage is all the men want to compare these young girls to Parvati and Sandra. Like that's all that these younger – or Parvati, I'm sorry. That's all these younger girls get called. So for somebody to say if he's on the tribe with Sierra, maybe his reasoning for getting rid of Sierra is, well, we don't want this Parvati girl walking around, pretty much like Parvati because Sierra did play probably the closest to Parvati we've seen any of these young girls who all claim that they play like Parvati.
Right.
So I could see Jeremy saying it, and also just to describe Wentworth in case she starts making a run deep in the game and he's like, oh, man, she's like the next Parvati because she's playing so good. Or for the reason why he got rid of her the first time if they ever meet back up.
I see that. I see that. It's a good one. And no changing your picks if you've already posted your picks. No changing after seeing this video. I know.
Have you put yours in? Have you typed these up already?
What do you mean? Like into a list?
Yeah.
No, not yet.
All right. I started doing it, so we probably should just do that, and then whatever we have.
We'll do that soon, and we'll add them as they go.
Yeah, whatever we have is set in stone.
Okay. So sounds good. All right. Bet number 10. Blank will be blindfolded at some point during a challenge.
I was more confident in this one than the Jeremy and PG ones.
Same here.
I actually put Monica Padilla for this. And the reason I put Monica Padilla is because I don't think she's going to be the first boot, the second boot, the third boot, the fourth boot. I think there's people who are going to go before her. But if there is a blindfold challenge, they normally do it after 3 or 4 tribal councils normally. She'll still be there, and there is no way in hell she is going to be up on the platform. She might sit out, but there's no way she's going to be up on the platform. She's not going to be the one calling. I mean, her tribe, she's on a tribe with Savage, with Joe, with Jeremy. There's no way she's going to be calling names over them. And even to sit out, if they go on a winning streak, because we do think that they're the stronger tribe, Sierra might sit out in a challenge like that. Cass might sit out. Kimmy, Steven. They might even sit out Tasha in a situation like this because they want to save her for an immunity if this is a reward. So I think Monica is my go-to here. I got her with 2 points because I think that if there is a blindfold challenge, which I don't even know if there will be, I think she will be blindfolded.
Yeah, we also have to think blindfold challenges don't only happen pre-merge, though it's very popular the
Yeah.
caller, the pairs to go out and get things. They do happen kind of at around 5 or 6 people left. Those immunity challenge where you have to go through a maze and look at post with like markings and with your hands go like this. So I picked Spencer for this one because I think he'll be there pre-merge, and if they do a blindfold challenge pre-merge, he'll be there. And he is on kind of the weaker tribe, we think. So I don't think anyone will sit out, and he probably won't be the caller. Just because he's like the youngest on the entire season. Just why would you want anyone that young directing you, shouting orders at you? And I think he was actually blindfolded multiple times in Cagayan, so why not put him down here? I think he'll last, if he goes out for the merge, he could still hit it. And if he stays late, he can also hit it. So I think Spencer is a good pick here, and I got 3 points on that.
Okay. Yeah, that's not bad at all. That's a tricky one because that's much like which one were we talking about earlier? I'm trying to think. Whichever one it was. There's a lot of these that might not even happen. So it's tough, when you're doing those. But yeah, I like your reasoning on that. I think Monica could go deep too, though. Like she might not. Right, she might be there final 5 or 6. Pull like she might be the invisible edit the entire way through the season, and she's still hanging around. The next one we have. This is number 11, and it will receive 5 or less votes. Right.
Right.
All right, for this one, including votes negated by idols, for this one, I actually have Terry, and I put 2 points for this. The reason I have Terry is at the beginning of this game, I don't feel like they're going to get rid of Terry while they have 9 people on the tribe, 8 people on the tribe, 7 people on the tribe. And if they do get rid of Terry, I don't think it's going to be like a 6-1 vote out. And I also don't think Terry's going to get many votes in the early game because he's a strong competitor. I don't think people are going to be like, oh, we need to get rid of Terry right away. My next thing is if he does make the merge, I feel like they would still get rid of the younger guys just because they look more intimidating than Terry. Even though Terry might be the strongest guy, I think they get rid of the other guys. And I think that means that he would make it to maybe 7 or 6 before he got voted out. And I don't think he'd have many votes before that because even if the tribes get smaller and he ends up on the wrong side of the numbers, like if they do the dissolve or whatever it would be, where they go to 3 tribes, and somehow he's on the wrong side of the numbers, the most he's going to get there is 5 votes. So I don't see how Terry really ends up with that many votes at any point in time because there's really no reason to get rid of him before the merge. And then right at the merge, he's not going to look like the strongest guy or the strongest competitor. And then later on down the line, there's just not going to be as many votes to give him.
Yeah, I kind of have definitely similar thinking. Again, a different player. And for different reasons, but kind of similar thinking. I have Kelly Wigglesworth for this one. I think she could easily go pre-merge when you're like, when there's, like you said, 7 or 6 people left and, get 3 or 4 votes and go home. Or she could kind of be, a lot of people are thinking she's not going to be in this game that much and she's not going to play. And I tend to agree with that. So she could, kind of be a goat that hangs around to, 7, 6, 5, 4 even, and go home with 3 or 4 votes. She seems likable enough that people aren't going to be, trying to get her out the entire time. But I don't know. I think she'll receive less than, and if any of these people make the final 3 without receiving votes, counts also. So I like Kelly Wigglesworth here.
Yeah, I think Kelly's a good pick. I think Kelly and Terry are both in the same boat where they're strong, so you don't want to get rid of them early. They're not that strategic, so you don't really have to worry about them that much. And you're not, if the tribes get smaller and they just end up on the wrong side of the numbers, it doesn't really, they're not going to go over 5.
Right. I mean, I hope not. And I have 3 points on this because I didn't really have anywhere else to put 3, and I think I can hit this one.
Okay. All right. Well, we haven't had any the same yet. I'm thinking we might have this one the same.
No, we don't.
No.
Because you already used the player that I had.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll give a reward to another castaway, not including getting something for the entire tribe. I thought this one was easy. Granted, once again, I only put 2 points because I'm not as adventurous as you.
How can this one be easy? First of all, they have to win. They have to make it to. They have to make the merge, where there's individual rewards. Then they have to win it, and then they have to say, "Here, you have it." Like there's a lot of things that need to happen. This might not even happen.
By easy, I figured that there's one thing that one of these castaways doesn't have in common with anybody else, and that's that they're a vegetarian. So if it's like a barbecue, there's no way Kimmy's going on that barbecue. And Kimmy's going to step down, and if Kimmy makes it far enough in the game, and she just has to end up on, like, it could be a 5-5 split for a reward challenge. She ends up on the side that wins that reward, and she says, you know what, I'm going to give mine up to somebody else who was on the other side. I don't see why Kimmy would, like, because you got to remember, that's pretty much what Natalie did all through San Juan del Sur. She didn't eat meat. And she's just giving up rewards like crazy.
I like the thinking there. I mean, but I could see Kimmy being a pre-merge boot. So I think it's risky. And I think you'll like my pick here. It might sound strange at first, but then if you let me explain, I'm just going to say the name, then you can tell me if you get what I'm thinking. I have Vetus for this one. What do you think of that?
I mean, it's good if he makes it that far. Why do you have Vetus?
You have no clue?
No.
Because Vetus is totally like this snaky, schemy guy who's like going to pretend to be all righteous and generous and say, you know what, you have it. That's just totally his MO. And if anyone's going to pull one of that, on one of those on this season, I could see Vetus saying, I really, really want Tasha to have this one.
Yeah.
She really has been good to me. I could just totally see him, bullshitting some reason to look like a good guy. That's what I get from Vetus. It's a really tough pick because it might not even happen. I didn't really have another great place to put Vetus, so I thought, why not here? I have 1 point on it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's a good pick. I mean, I could definitely see him making that. He's got to get that far, though, and I think Vetus comes in with one of the biggest targets on his back.
I think he's so well connected, though, because of the blood versus water thing. Yeah, I think he's set up nicely and with pregame alliances.
Hey, we'll see. Well, okay, for 13, do we have the same one?
I don't know. We could.
Okay. This one I thought was easy just based on how they reacted when their name got announced. This 13 is we'll give Jeff Probst a hug. I put 3 points on this. I have Jeff Varner.
I have Jeff Varner too.
Okay. Because I feel like when we did this one, and like I remember at the reunion when Jeff was told he was coming back on, he was so excited. And Jeff is like the most excited for this, like out of anybody. And I just see him winning a challenge and running over and like picking Probst up and carrying him around in a circle or something. Like I feel like he's just so pumped to be out there. There's no way he doesn't at least hug Jeff Probst. Even when he gets voted out, I could definitely see him just hugging him. So it's like, it's got to be Varner there.
Yeah, I have Jeff Varner there as well. Pretty much the same reasons. I do only have 2 points on it though, because there is a chance that the hug never happens. I could just see it even after like his tribe wins a reward. He's there, they're just handing it to them. They're getting the toilet paper, the Charmin, and the toothpaste, and maybe some coffee, and then he just gives Jeff a big hug.
Yeah, like
who better to hug Jeff than Jeff?
Exactly, and I feel like Jeff is probably out of the older contestants, like the really early seasons. I think that he was the most excited, even during the campaigning. Like Jeff Varner seemed like he was really into this, and he was one of the guys he wished he would have been back on All Stars. So I think he's really pumped to be back this time around, and he's going to take advantage of every second of it. So he's not going to care. But we finally agreed on one.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. We finally have the same one. It took 13 bets. It's good it didn't come sooner. That's perfect. Okay. 14 is we'll catch a bag of buffs. This is Cole Jordan's suggestion in the comments. We thank you very much. This is a great bet.
Yeah, this one was fun because this could happen like 4 different times during the entire thing. It could happen right at the beginning where each tribe's going to get buffs thrown at them. So that's 2.
That's 2, right?
If they do a tribe swap, then that's another 2. If they do the 3 tribes, like some people are thinking, that's another 3.
The dissolve, yeah.
Yeah, and then even at the merge, normally he doesn't throw the buffs out there. Normally they're all sitting there. Or like they're in like a little basket, like if they get to like a merge feast or something.
He'll throw the buffs for the merge.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. But I mean, we're looking at almost 6 or 7 chances here. The one I have right off the bat, I think that they might catch it right at the beginning because, once again, I didn't know where else to put them. I have Sierra, 1 point. Go catch that bag of buffs, Sierra. I originally had Abby Maria for this, and then I changed it to Sierra.
I had Abby Maria for this for a little bit too, just because I didn't have anywhere else to put her. But then I started thinking, Abby Maria is not going to make a tribe swap. She's not going to make the merge. And
I figured Sierra might be able to last a little bit longer to maybe make a swap at least. And, it always seems like the younger girls are the ones who catch this. Or it always seems like it's like somebody you wouldn't expect.
I can tell you why that happens. And this is why I have Kimmy here for this pick, is because it's the people standing in front It's the shorter people. They set it up so the taller guys and the chicks, they stand in the back, and then the shorter people in the front. So, the camera can get everybody's face. So when Jeff tosses the buffs, it's usually he's not, rocketing it at them or tossing it super high. He's just kind of casually tossing it out. It's somebody in the front row. And Kimmy's pretty darn short. So I think Kimmy's going to be in the front row all the time. She has a total chance of making it to the swap and the merge. So I have 3 points on this. I think Kimmy will, and like you said, it's always just a random person. So, Kimmy's perfect for this. I got 3 points on it.
That's a good point, that the tall people always stand up in the back and the shorter people are always in the front, because Joe's not going to catch this. Jeremy's not going to catch this. Like, Savage isn't going to catch this. Like, it's going to be one of those shorter girls who just happens to be right there, and Jeff just is like, here, take this.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if somehow Terry, Savage, Joe, it's so random. We really, because he could do a high toss. Who knows? That's why it makes this bet fun. We do have reasoning for our picks at least, so, we're all good.
Yeah, we do. We do. All right, 15. This person will step down and not participate in immunity challenge for food. I have Wigglesworth here because I feel like what's going to happen is I think Wigglesworth makes the merge. I think that the first time that there's a temptation, she's like, screw this, don't want to be here, go and eat the food. I don't think she's going to be in it that much. I think that we're all going to be kind of disappointed in Wigglesworth this time around. But I don't know. Maybe we won't be. I hope not. But I have 2 points for Wigglesworth.
That seems to be the consensus, that she's just going to kind of be a dud.
She doesn't seem like she wants to be there.
Yeah, I that's what I'm seeing as well. I hope she proves us wrong. I have Wu for this one. He needs to get a fat dip of that guac and maybe go back at the ribs. And Wu is, his head's not always in the game. I can see him totally jumping off or, sitting out a challenge so he can wolf down some ribs.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's all the people who aren't real gamers, who aren't hardcore gamers and have stepped down in the past. I mean, we see it every season. So
I only have 1 point on that because who knows? That's a tough one.
Yeah, it is. It might not even happen. So, although I think this season it definitely does happen because, like, if Jeff Varner's there at the merge, since he stepped down for peanut butter in the past, there's going to be a shit ton of peanut butter that comes out, and they're going to hope that he steps down again for it. So,
peanut butter would not even be. It's always on Survivor. I don't know I don't think it'd be that good if you're like out in the heat and you haven't eaten, you're starving.
It makes your mouth dry.
To just get a bunch. Yeah, your mouth dries. It sticks to the roof of your mouth, and like it's just
you have nothing to drink.
Yeah, you have to then. I don't know. I don't know why that's such a big tempting thing. I get the chocolate, but man, I would not jump off for peanut butter. I'd wait for like a burger or something.
Yeah, I agree. All right, 16. This is the one that kind of hurt the whole most confessionals in the premiere because I was going to put this person, but then I was like, you know what? I don't want to use them just for that, considering if they're around for multiple episodes, they have a bunch of chances. We'll get an episode with 10 or more confessionals. I have Cass. She did it twice in Cagayan, and since she is a camera hog, and out of all the women, she has the best chance, and even probably out of all the men, she has the best chance to get this many confessionals. So I have Cass. I put 2 points on it. I think that she's going to end up with a lot of confessionals in the short amount of time that I think she's going to be out there.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. I have Steven for this one because Steven is, what does he do? Since he's played Survivor, what has he done? He's like, he does podcast. He talks about Survivor. That's what he does for like all these episodes with him and Rob on Know It Alls. He is really well spoken, knows the game really well, is a really smart guy, a big fan favorite. I mean, who doesn't like Steven? And I think he's going to be in it for the long haul, or at least when he is in it, he's going to be a big narrator. And I would not be surprised if he lands an episode with 10 confessionals. I got 3 points on that one.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is going to be. It's getting more fun now that we're into the fantasy games because we're still going to do a boot list, just not for the buff. But like doing the boot list thing, originally I was like Steven and Spencer. They're in the most. Steven, Spencer, Abby, Maria, Cass. Those are going to be the first 4 people going. And the more I look at like Steven and Spencer's chances, there's so many people who are threats for such different reasons that there's a good reason to get rid of every single person on this cast.
Yeah, like the threat that they're not threatening enough is also a reason. Like,
yeah.
Oh man, they're just going to glide on because they're not threatening. That makes them a threat.
Yeah, I think that this could definitely be one of those seasons where you sit there and you're like, well, these are going to be the first people voted off, and it just surprises you the entire time.
Yeah, I'm looking for. I mean, we're stoked.
We really are.
As of now, we can now say next month Survivor will be on.
Yeah. This is 7 weeks from Wednesday, right? 7
Woo.
weeks.
Woo!
That's not bad. That's not that bad. All right. 17. We'll find a hidden immunity idol. You thought Joe would play it successfully. I think Joe's just going to find it. I mean, maybe he plays it successfully. I just think Steven has a better chance of playing it successfully. I got Joe here with 2 points. It was between him and Steven for this one.
Yeah, I had Joe here originally, and I just was like, man, like if Joe finds an idol and then doesn't play it successfully, I'm going to be pretty bummed. Yeah. I only have 1 point on both idol ones just because it's totally, I mean, it's so hard to predict. I have Kelly Wentworth here just because I didn't really have a better spot to put her. And she's a gamer. She'll be looking out for idols. She went pre-merge last time. She wants to make sure that doesn't happen again. And I could see her finding one and then using it as leverage or giving it to someone, playing it on somebody else. I don't know. Play it on herself. I could just see her finding an idol.
Yeah, that's
1
point.
I'm not confident. Just a 1 point.
Yeah, that's not a bad pick because Wentworth is going to – it's the people with the chips on their shoulders that realize that they're in as much trouble or think that they're in so much trouble or want to prove something like really bad. And Wentworth definitely – I think Wentworth, out of everybody here, other than maybe Savage, wants to prove like the most that like they belong. You know what I mean? Like they really want to prove that they belong. Mm-hmm. So that's not a bad choice. All right, 18 will be quoted in a new hashtag. Originally, I had Sierra here because she was left over. Sierra's not nearly lippy enough. I have Abby Maria, 1 point. I think that what could happen here with Abby Maria is it's just like she says something so dumb or just so stupid villainly that they're just like, we have to put that as a hashtag. It's almost like Rodney with the 3 C's last year. Calm, cool, and collective. Like, that, you know, like, no, Rodney.
It gets me every time. Yeah,
it really does. So it's like, you know, I could see Abby Maria in like the first episode and they're like, let's hashtag that, let's put that up there, and Abby Maria ends up still being the first boot or something, but she gets a hashtag. This was a hard one because you never know who's going to come out and just say something funny, and there was nowhere else better, really, I didn't think, to put Abby Maria.
Well, confessionals in the premiere. That's where I have her. I thought
she could definitely be a confessional person. That's definitely for sure. That's why I have her with this. This is still a confessional thing.
Right. I put Abby Maria. Or I did think about her too for this one for the hashtag, but like you started with, I have Sierra here, just 1 point on it. But Sierra, you don't need to necessarily be lippy. You just need to be kind of creative and just. I could see Sierra saying something in a confessional that's really kind of funny or silly, or it doesn't necessarily need to be in a confessional. It could be someone walking on the beach. I think Sierra has what it takes to get a hashtag. So.
Oh yeah, I definitely think. I mean, Sierra was my first choice, and then I just switched to Tabby Maria. I switched their spots around.
Oh, good. So we're thinking along the same lines. Number 19 is this person will cry during the game. This doesn't count if they cry after being voted out. So it has to be during the game, and it can't be at the reunion show.
Okay. I remember when this person played, I stood up for them and said, wow, they didn't even cry that much. Like when this happened, they didn't get all sappy. They didn't get all emotional. They were just talking about it. They were fine about it. But playing back-to-back seasons, I think Shireen's going to break down again. I think that it's going to be a lot of the same for Shireen this time around. And I think she's going to end up crying. I put 3 points on this. Last season, there was that first time that she really started getting emotional. She wasn't crying, and I was like, wow, that was like good. Like she didn't even give Survivor the tears. And then as the season went on and it just kept getting worse and worse, she finally broke. And if she lasts longer here, these people are just going to break her. Like they're just going to break her again. I mean, this is back-to-back time she's playing. I mean, she hasn't had that long of a break. So I think that this might just emotionally destroy her if she doesn't get a better alliance going than she did last time. If she doesn't have a max, she's in a lot of trouble, I think. So I'll put her with 3 points. Shireen crying.
Yeah, I have PG also for 3 points. I feel like PG, she's kind of an old school player. Not totally old school, but one of the, players from, season 15, China. I think she's so excited to come back, and she's so determined on changing and being social and making alliances. And if that doesn't work out for her, she's going to be devastated. and she cried in China. It would not surprise me if she cried here. So I'm pretty confident in this one that PG will cry.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be PG, Shireen, and other than that, maybe
those are the two, like, yeah. I think, money picks there.
Unless we get down further in the game and there's family coming and stuff.
The loved one visit, it can get anybody to cry. And Shireen and PG very well might make it to the loved one visit, so we're not ruling them out there. But they also have a good chance to cry if they don't.
Yep, I agree. All right, so we're on the last one. Wow. Number 20. We'll have an episode title come from his or her quote. I have Keith. I got 3 points. I think that as long as Keith is in this game, he says some pretty colorful things that will probably get an episode title. I know who you have because obviously we've done the process of elimination. They were my second pick for this. I mean, it's just a confessional thing. You know what I mean? Like these are all confessional related. It's just Keith's going to say something where it's stick to the plan, and they're like, let's make stick to the plan the name of the episode.
Did Keith get any in San Juan del Sur?
I don't know if he did, but Keith was always there, but he was like. He didn't really become as loved until like later.
I think he had a hashtag. He got a couple hashtags, I think.
Yeah.
I have Cass, as you figured out. I have Cass for this one. I only have 1 point for it just because this is it's pretty hard to predict, and Cass might go so early. I don't want to put 3 points on it and have her be, the first boot. She's a really well-spoken lady, funny lady, a villain, and it wouldn't shock me at all if she says something in the episode. They want to quote it, make it the title.
Yeah. I mean, I think that makes perfect sense. It was Cass or Keith. I mean, I think the two of them say the things that are kind of the most ridiculous. But you got to remember, if Cass goes first, why not Keith? You know what I mean? Keith, I think, is going to last long enough where he's going to have more chances. And maybe he gets towards the end and some of these other people don't say things that are Survivor episode title worthy. But Keith always does. Everything Keith says is funny. So,
yeah, I think Keith and Cass are both good choices there. So, did yours add up to 40? Just making sure. Mine definitely did.
Mine definitely did. I added it up beforehand.
A trick you can do: you can match all the ones with the threes.
Yeah.
And then have those be even up, and then everything else is a 2. So, if you want to do a quick look, or if any one of you want to see if your thing adds up to 40 without manually adding, if the one, just find as many ones as you have threes, and then every other one will be a 2.
Yeah, I'm 5 and 5. You're 7 and 7. So you had more. You went more risky on the threes, but not much.
So I have 7 threes, 7 ones, and then 6 twos.
Yeah, and I went 5, 5, and 10.
It doesn't look like it. Wait, I'm trying to see. I only see 4 twos for me. Do you have that?
Oh wow, yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I was just looking at it too quick.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, you have 7 and 7. Yeah, 7 and 7 would be
I have 8. I have 8 threes, and then 8 ones, and then 4 twos.
Okay, I was looking at one of the threes as a 2 because there was like a bunch of 2s around it. My bad. Yeah, you have 8, 8, and 4.
Alrighty, that wraps this one up. I don't know what we'll be doing next. Potentially a boot list, potentially a fantasy draft. If you want to get more detailed rules, you can look at our previous video. It's very simple. I will post the same rules in the description, and we'll post a sample entry. And you can comment the entry on this video or comment the entry on the last video. Either one works. Be sure to subscribe. And I think that's it. You got anything else, Phil?
No, that's it. Yeah, make sure you subscribe if you're going to do it, though.
Right, and you can win a buff. I don't know if we've mentioned that yet. One buff will be up for grabs every 50 people that enter. And already we have like 60 entries, so there's already one buff up for grabs. 40 people away to get 2 buffs up for grabs, and it's early August. So we only put this video up about a week ago, so we're expecting a lot of entries. We are capping it at 5 buffs, so if it gets to 250, which probably won't, but if it does, and then if it gets to 300, we're not going to give out 5 buff maximum because we're poor.
Yes, we are.
All right, sounds good. That was a fun one. I think this game will be a lot of fun. Hope you play with us.